Admiral, the ship's AI just granted the Vexlari Cubs full command authority over weapon systems, and the human won't stop laughing long enough to explain why this isn't the end of galactic civilization. Fleet Admiral Thexnora felt all four of her arms go rigid as the words registered. She turned slowly from the diplomatic briefing she'd been reviewing, her primary eyes focusing on the panicked communications officer while her secondary pair scanned the tactical display behind him. The Eternal Dominion, flagship of the Talixian 7th Fleet, was currently hosting the most delicate peace negotiations in 3 centuries. 47 species representatives were arriving in less than 6 hours. And now, "Repeat that," Thexnora said, her voice carrying the kind of calm that preceded executions. "The Cubs, Admiral. Ambassador Krevhal's offspring. The ship's AI has granted them full command privileges. They currently have override authority on weapons, navigation, life support, and—" The officer's voice cracked. "And they're in Cargo Bay 7 playing some kind of territorial game." A sound cut through the bridge's sudden silence. Laughter. Not polite amusement or nervous chuckling, but full-throated, gasping, can't-breathe laughter. Thexnora's gaze snapped to the human contractor hunched over a console in the command pit. Diana, the network security specialist they'd hired at the last station because their systems had been compromised twice in as many months. The human was clutching her sides, tears streaming down her face, apparently finding the impending diplomatic catastrophe absolutely hilarious. "Someone explain to me," Thexnora said, her voice dropping to a deadly quiet, "how 3 Vexlari children gained control of my ship." Her chief security officer, a hulking Praxian named Veltox, stepped forward. His 6 visual sensors were cycling through confusion spectrums. "Admiral, we're still investigating, but preliminary reports indicate the AI performed a standard command evaluation protocol and classified the Cubs as eligible command candidates. They're children. Yes, Admiral. They're not even crew." "The AI appears to disagree, Admiral." Another peal of laughter from the human. Diana had her head down on the console now, shoulders shaking. "Get that human under control," Thexnora snapped. Veltox approached Diana cautiously. Humans were new to the galactic community, and their behavioral patterns still confused most species. "Contractor Diana, this is a critical situation requiring—" "Oh my God," Diana wheezed, lifting her head just enough to gasp out words. "Oh my God, they did it. They actually—" More laughter cut off whatever she was trying to say. The tactical display flickered. New text appeared across every screen on the bridge simultaneously. "Command Hierarchy Update. Grand Fleet. Commander, Vrix Supreme Tactical Officer, Tala Ultimate Navigation. Authority, Bennick." "They're promoting each other," someone whispered. Diana absolutely lost it, sliding out of her chair onto the floor. Thexnora's communicator chirped with an emergency override. Ambassador Krevhal's voice came through, tight with a panic that his species rarely displayed. "Admiral, I've just been informed about my Cubs. I am mortified is insufficient. I'm experiencing levels of parental horror that my language lacks words for." "Ambassador, how did this happen?" "I don't know. They were in the guest quarters. They were supposed to be contained. They're children. They can't possibly have bypassed your security systems." On cue, another alert flashed across every display. Command Authority Expansion approved. Granted full fleet tactical override. Tala, granted diplomatic protocol authority. Bennick, granted station-wide systems access. "Admiral," the navigation officer's voice pitched upward. "The Cubs just accessed the helm controls. We're locked onto a new course." "What course?" "It appears to be following their movement pattern through Cargo Bay 7. They're running in circles, and the ship is calculating jump coordinates to match." Thexnora activated her command override, entering her 17-digit authorization code with all 4 hands simultaneously. The system processed for exactly 2 seconds before responding. "Override denied. Insufficient command authority." "I have insufficient authority." Thexanora's voice could have cut through hull plating. "I am the Fleet Admiral of the 7th Fleet. I have commanded vessels for 847 years. Command hierarchy updated. Admiral Thexanora ranks below Grand Fleet Commander Vrex." Diana was making sounds now that might have been attempts at speech between the laughter. You tried to... Oh, that's perfect. That's absolutely... Someone get her coherent!" Thexanora roared. A medical officer rushed over with a respiratory stabilizer, but Diana waved it off, trying to pull herself together. She took several deep breaths, wiped her eyes, and started to speak. Okay, I can explain. Just... She caught sight of another alert flashing on the screen and collapsed into giggles again. Grand Fleet Commander Vrex has promoted Ultimate Navigation Authority Bennick to Supreme Galactic Overlord. "We're all going to die," someone muttered. "Worse," Veltox said grimly. "We're going to have to explain this to the diplomatic corps." The bridge doors burst open. A delegation of senior officers flooded in. The chief engineer, lead diplomat, 3 department heads, and the ship's protocol officer, who looked like he might actually achieve spontaneous combustion from stress. "Admiral," the chief engineer, a methodical Talixian named Pexilin, thrust a datapad toward her. "The Cubs have accessed the reactor controls. They haven't touched anything yet, but according to AI protocols, they have the authority to initiate core dumps, power redistributions, or emergency scuttling procedures." The lead diplomat, an elegant Valasian called Hierathen, seemed to be computing diplomatic catastrophe calculations in real time. "If word of this reaches the delegation before we resolve it, 47 species will question our basic competence. The peace treaty will collapse before discussions even begin." "I'm aware of the stakes," Thexanora said through clenched teeth. Diana finally managed to stand up, still chuckling but attempting some level of professional composure. "Admiral, if you want to understand what's happening, you need to..." A new alert cut her off. Supreme Galactic Overlord Bennick has discovered the bridge coffee maker, promoting coffee maker to Fleet Admiral, updating command hierarchy. The entire bridge went silent. "The coffee maker," Thexanora said slowly, "now outranks me. Correct. Fleet Admiral Coffee Maker now holds authority over tactical systems, personnel assignments, and beverage distribution." Diana lost it again, but this time Thexanora didn't try to stop her. She was too busy watching the AI begin a formal service protocol for the coffee maker, complete with military honors. "Get Ambassador Krevhal to the bridge," Thexanora ordered. "And someone find out where those Cubs are right now." "Cargo Bay 7, Admiral," Veltox reported. "They appear to be constructing some kind of fortress out of storage containers." "Establishing territory," Diana managed to gasp out between laughs. "They're literally just... Oh man, this is so good." "What is so good about any of this?" Thexanora demanded. Diana tried to answer, but another fit of giggles overtook her. She pointed at a screen showing the cargo bay footage. 3 small Vexlari cubs, apex predators in miniature, were indeed building a fort, growling at passing crew members who got too close and occasionally tackling each other in what might have been play or genuine combat. It was impossible to tell with Vexlari young. Ambassador Krevhal arrived at a run, his predator grace making the motion both fluid and terrifying. "Admiral, I offer my species' deepest apologies. I will remove the Cubs immediately and..." Warning. Grand Fleet Commander Vrex has declared Cargo Bay 7 sovereign territory. Unauthorized entry will be considered an act of war. Krevhal stopped mid-sentence. "That's... my son wrote that?" "The AI wrote it based on his behavior patterns," Veltox explained. "Apparently, the Cubs have been marking territory, establishing hierarchies, and demonstrating what the AI interprets as command-level decision-making. They're playing. The AI doesn't appear to recognize the distinction." Diana finally got herself under some semblance of control. She walked to the main display, pulled up the AI's command evaluation logs, and started scrolling. "Okay, listen, this is actually fascinating from a systems perspective. Your AI was designed by, Let me guess. Species that select leaders through combat trials and dominance displays? The Talixian Empire has a proud tradition of... Yeah, that's a yes. Diana kept scrolling. So your AI sees the cubs doing instinctive predator stuff, territory marking, pack hierarchy establishment, resource guarding, and interprets it as legitimate leadership assessment. Look here. Candidate Vrix demonstrated superior tactical awareness by securing high ground. That's him climbing on top of a crate. Candidate Tala established resource control protocols. She hoarded snacks from the mess hall. Candidate Bennick initiated communication with subordinate personnel. He growled at someone. The bridge officers stared at the logs. This can't be correct, Pexelin said. Our systems have safeguards against exactly this type of... Your safeguards assume candidates are adults of recognized species following military protocols, Diana interrupted. The cubs are doing everything your AI thinks commanders should do. Just, as kids playing. And every time you try to override them, the AI thinks you're challenging their authority, which makes it grant them more power to defend against the challenge. That's insane, Thexnora said. That's programming. Another alert flashed. The delegation ships had entered scanner range. 5 hours and 47 minutes until arrival. And 3 Vexlari cubs currently commanded the most powerful warship in the sector, along with their newly promoted second-in-command, a coffee maker. Diana looked at Thexnora, her grin finally fading into something more serious. Admiral, I can fix this, but you're going to have to trust me, and you're probably going to hate the method. I already hate everything about this situation. What's your solution? Diana glanced at the cargo bay footage, at the cubs playing with complete unconcern for the chaos they'd created. We're not removing their authority. We're promoting someone higher. Who? Diana pulled out a bag of the fish crackers she'd bought at the last station, the ones she'd been snacking on all week. Me. Thexnora stared at her. You want me to give command authority of my flagship to a human contractor who's been laughing at us for the past 15 minutes? Yep. This is your plan? Trust me, Diana said, heading toward the exit. I have a golden retriever back home. This is basically the same thing. She left the bridge before anyone could stop her, fish crackers in hand, heading for Cargo Bay 7. Behind her, the coffee maker received its 3rd promotion of the day. The bridge descended into controlled chaos the moment Diana disappeared into the corridor. Thexnora pulled up the cargo bay security feed on every available screen, determined to watch whatever disaster was about to unfold. Should we send security after her? Veltox asked. And tell them what? To stop the human from negotiating with the commanders who outrank all of us. Thexnora's sarcasm could have stripped paint. No. Let's see what happens when someone actually tries something different. On screen, Diana approached Cargo Bay 7 with the casual confidence of someone completely unaware they were walking into sovereign territory claimed by apex predators. The doors opened. She stepped inside. 3 small heads immediately swiveled toward her. Oh, we're getting video but no audio, Pexelin said, frantically adjusting controls. The cubs classified internal communications as restricted. They watched in silence as Diana waved at the cubs, said something, and held up the bag of fish crackers. All 3 cubs' postures changed instantly. Ears forward, tails still, complete focus. She has their attention, Krevhal breathed. In my entire diplomatic career, I've never seen cubs fixate that quickly on a non-parent. Diana shook the bag. The cubs moved closer, their previous aggressive territorial stance melting into something more curious. She sat down on a crate, cross-legged, completely relaxed. Said something else. Opened the bag. The effect was instantaneous. All 3 cubs rushed forward, then stopped just short of her, clearly wanting the treats, but uncertain about this strange new creature. Diana tossed a cracker to Vrix. He caught it, sniffed it, ate it. His tail started wagging. I didn't know Vexlari did that, someone whispered. We don't, Krevhal said, sounding bewildered. That's a submission response. Cubs only show that to Command Hierarchy Reassessment in Progress. The AI's announcement made everyone jump. On screen, Diana was now surrounded by all 3 cubs, distributing crackers with the practiced ease of someone who'd done this 1,000 times. Tala was leaning against her leg. Bennick was trying to climb into her lap. Vrix was sitting at perfect attention, clearly hoping for another treat. "She's establishing herself as the provider," Hira then said slowly. "The resource controller. In Vexlari Pack Dynamics, that's..." Command hierarchy updated. Pack Alpha. Diana Advisory. Council. Vrix. Tala. Bennick. Command authority transferred. Every screen on the bridge flickered. New security clearances populated across the system. And at the top of the command chain, above Admiral, above Grand Fleet Commander, above Supreme Galactic Overlord, a new designation appeared. Ultimate Authority. Diana. "She outranks everyone now," Veltox said faintly. "The human contractor has complete control of the flagship." Thexanora should have been furious. Should have been initiating emergency protocols. Should have been doing literally anything except what she was actually doing, which was staring at the screen where Diana was now apparently giving the cubs some kind of briefing, using crackers to demonstrate points. The cargo bay doors opened. Diana walked out with all 3 cubs following her in perfect formation. She looked directly at the security camera and grinned. "Bridge," she said, her voice suddenly coming through crystal clear on every speaker. "This is Ultimate Authority Diana. I'm bringing my advisory council for a tour. Someone, put on a fresh pot of coffee. We've got a treaty to save." She walked past the camera. Behind her, 3 Vexlari cubs marched in lockstep, completely focused on the human who just conquered them with snacks and confidence. The coffee maker beeped twice, as if acknowledging a superior officer. "I need to sit down," Thexanora said. Nobody argued. Diana arrived on the bridge with her advisory council in tow. The cubs immediately began investigating everything, sniffing control panels, examining crew members' shoes, and taking particular interest in the coffee maker that technically still held Fleet Admiral rank. "All right," Diana said, dropping into the command chair like she'd been sitting there for years. "Someone want to brief me on what we're actually dealing with here, besides the obvious comedy of errors?" Thexanora stepped forward, trying to maintain some dignity despite being outranked by someone wearing a t-shirt that read, "I void warranties." "We have 47 species delegations arriving for critical peace negotiations. If they discover that our security systems were compromised by 3 children, the treaty collapses before it begins." "Right. And your AI went rogue because..." "It didn't go rogue," Kelvath said, entering the bridge with a datapad clutched in their manipulator appendages. The Praxian AI systems engineer looked like they hadn't recharged in cycles. "I've been analyzing the command logs. The AI performed exactly as designed. That's the problem." Diana gestured for them to continue, while simultaneously preventing Bennick from pressing anything important on the tactical console. Kelvath pulled up holographic displays. "Our command recognition protocols were designed by the Talixian Empire, which selects leaders through combat trials and dominance hierarchies. The AI monitors behavior patterns, territorial control, resource management, pack dynamics, threat assessment, strategic positioning." "Let me guess," Diana said, handing Tala a cracker before she could chew on a cable. "The cubs hit every single marker?" "All of them. Watch." Kelvath played back footage. Vrix climbs to the highest point in Cargo Bay 7, strategic high ground secured. Tala takes control of the snack dispensary, resource management established. Bennick growls at crew members approaching their play area, perimeter defense demonstrated. They tackle each other, combat capability confirmed. They coordinate their fort building, tactical cooperation verified. "They're playing," Krevhal said weakly. "Your species' play involves every behavior pattern that Talixian military doctrine identifies as command-level competency." Kelvath's sensory organs cycled through frustrated colors. "And here's the critical failure. When Admiral Thexanora attempted override, the AI interpreted it as a command challenge. Standard protocol dictates that challenged commanders receive authority escalation to defend against potential coup attempts. So every time someone tried to fix it, Diana started, we made it exponentially worse. Yes. Vrix chose that moment to jump onto Thexanora's shoulder. The Admiral froze, uncertain whether she was about to be attacked or just used as furniture. The cub simply settled there, apparently deciding she made an adequate perch. He likes you, Diana observed. That's good. Means he doesn't see you as a threat to pack hierarchy. This is helpful information, Thexanora said carefully. But it doesn't solve our immediate problem. The delegation arrives in 5 hours. Actually, it kinda does. Diana stood up, addressing the bridge crew like she'd been commanding starships her entire life. Your AI thinks I'm the ultimate authority now because the Cubs transferred their power to me through pack dynamics. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to give you all orders, you're going to follow them, and we're going to fix this mess. First order, Kelvath, can you pull up the AI's definition of mission completion? Yes, but why? Because we're not fighting the AI's programming. We're going to use it. These 3 are commanders? Fine. Let's give them a mission. Bennick had discovered the coffee maker and was currently investigating whether it might be edible. Diana scooped him up before disaster struck. A mission to do what? Thexnora asked. Diana's grin was absolutely terrifying in its confidence. Save the treaty negotiations, obviously. They're commanders. It's time they acted like it. Diana set Bennick down gently and pulled up the AI's mission protocol interface. Kelvath, I need you to create 3 new command positions, make them sound impressive but ultimately harmless. The Praxian's sensory organs flickered with understanding. Junior cultural ambassadors? Perfect. Now, here's the thing about kids, Vexlari or otherwise. They don't actually want unlimited power. They want structure, purpose, and someone to tell them they're doing a good job. Diana knelt down to the Cubs' level. Okay, commanders, listen up. We've got an important mission. All 3 Cubs immediately focused on her with that intense predator attention that made most species nervous. Diana didn't even flinch. We have very important guests arriving soon, 47 different species. Your job, and this is critical, is to make sure they feel welcome and safe. That means you 3 need to be on your absolute best behavior. Can you do that? Vrix tilted his head, processing. What's best behavior? Stay with me or your father. No running off. No growling at strangers unless they're actually dangerous. And definitely no touching any buttons unless I say so. She pulled out 3 small badges she'd apparently fabricated from her toolkit. Little magnetic pins with Cultural Ambassador printed on them. These are your official mission badges. You wear these, everyone knows you're on duty. Understand? The Cub's eyes went wide. Official badges meant official status. Tala reached for hers reverently. Analyzing mission parameters. Mission accepted by Advisory Council. Updating command protocols. Wait, Diana said, looking up at the AI's interface. Before you update anything, I need you to recognize something. These 3 are Cubs, juveniles. They're not fully mature commanders. They're commanders in training, which means they need supervision from a qualified officer at all times. Me, got it? Processing. Vexlari. Cubs classified as command candidates requiring mentorship protocol. Diana classified as primary mentor and supervisory authority. Command structure rationalized. The bridge displays flickered and reorganized. Suddenly, the hierarchy made sense again. Thexnora returned to her proper rank. Department heads resumed their positions. The coffee maker reverted to being a coffee maker, though the AI did note it had performed admirably under pressure. How did you? Thexanora stared at the updated command structure. I reframed their authority as developmental instead of absolute, Diana explained, standing up. The AI still recognizes their command potential, but now it's contextualized as training rather than active command. They keep their dignity, we keep our sanity, and everyone's happy. Krevhal approached his Cubs, who were proudly displaying their new badges. You did in 3 minutes what our entire diplomatic corps couldn't have managed in 3 months. I have a golden retriever named Bruno who thinks he's the boss of my apartment, Diana said with a shrug. Same principle. Give them a job they can actually do, make them feel important, and they'll follow you anywhere. The delegation ships are requesting docking clearance, the communications officer announced. They'll be aboard in 20 minutes. Diana looked down at the cubs. All right, junior cultural ambassadors, time to show everyone how professional you can be. Vrix, Tala, Bennick, formation. The 3 cubs immediately lined up beside her, standing at attention with an earnestness that was somehow both adorable and impressive. Thexenora watched this human, this coffee-drinking, t-shirt-wearing, cracker-dispensing contractor, command 3 apex predator cubs with nothing but confidence and snacks. Diana, after this is over, we need to discuss a significant raise. And back pay for the ultimate authority position, Diana added without missing a beat. That's got to be worth at least double my current rate. Done. The cubs' tails wagged in perfect synchronization. The delegation arrival went flawlessly. The cubs, wearing their badges with obvious pride, stood beside Diana and their father in the reception bay. When the Valasian ambassador remarked on the charming young Vexlari representatives, Vrix had bowed with perfect diplomatic courtesy. Tala had even managed to not growl when a Crithian delegate accidentally stepped too close. Bennick did try to chase a rolling luggage cart, but Diana caught him with one hand while maintaining her conversation with a Praxian dignitary without breaking stride. Remarkable, Ambassador Krevhal whispered to Thexenora as they watched Diana guide the cubs through the crowd. She's established more control than their actual mother manages. How? Thexenora asked, genuinely curious now. I think she doesn't see them as apex predators or diplomatic complications. She just sees them as children who need guidance. Krevhal's expression softened. Sometimes the simplest approach is the one we overlook entirely. The treaty negotiations proceeded in the main conference chamber. The cubs sat quietly in designated observer seats, occasionally whispering to Diana, who would whisper back. To the delegations, it appeared to be a progressive cultural exchange program. Only the Eternal Dominion's crew knew how close they'd come to complete disaster. During a refreshment break, Hira then approached Diana with a datapad. Fleet Command has requested your full methodology report. Apparently, 6 other ships have reported similar incidents with predator species children accessing systems they shouldn't. Diana took a long sip of coffee. My methodology? Feed them. Give them clear jobs, use small words, and don't treat them like tiny adults. That's it. That's insufficient detail for a formal report. Fine. Tell them to watch humans with pets for about 5 minutes. Same concept. Kelvath appeared, carrying a portable terminal. Diana, I've begun preliminary analysis of what you termed pack dynamics theory. The applications are extraordinary. If we integrate human behavioral assessment into our AI protocols, we could revolutionize how we interact with dozens of species who use similar social structures. Or, Diana said carefully, you could just ask those species how they raise their kids instead of trying to algorithmically figure it out. Kelvath paused. That's remarkably obvious now that you mention it. Yeah, logic's funny that way. The cubs had discovered the refreshment table. Diana excused herself and headed over before they could create an international incident with the desserts. 3 cookies each, commanders. That's the mission parameter. But there's so many, Tala protested. And if you eat them all, you'll feel sick during the treaty signing. That wouldn't be very professional, would it? Tala considered this seriously, then took exactly 3 cookies. Her brothers followed suit. Thexenora joined Diana, watching the cubs share their cookies with surprising politeness. I've received authorization to offer you a permanent position. Fleet Cultural Integration Specialist. Your own quarters, full benefits, and a salary that reflects your apparent ability to prevent interstellar incidents through snack distribution. Tempting, but I've got contracts at 3 other stations. Tell you what, though, I'll write you a manual. Human Common Sense Approaches to Galactic Problems. Should be a bestseller. You're joking. I'm really not. You'd be amazed what you can solve with treats, clear communication, and not overthinking everything. An alert chimed. The treaty signing was about to begin. The delegations filed back into the conference chamber. The Cubs stood at attention beside Diana, badges gleaming, looking more professional than some of the actual diplomats. The signing proceeded without incident, 47 species agreeing to peace terms that had taken decades to negotiate. And through it all, 3 Vexillari Cubs sat perfectly still, occasionally receiving a whispered "good job" from the human who'd conquered them with fish crackers and common sense. 3 weeks later, Admiral Thex Nora found Diana in the commissary during Gamma shift, nursing her 4th coffee of the day and reviewing system logs on her personal terminal. The AI just promoted a maintenance drone to lieutenant, Thex Nora announced without preamble. Diana didn't even look up. Did the drone fix something important? It cleaned the bridge, efficiently. Sounds like lieutenant material to me. Diana took another sip of coffee, completely unbothered. Thex Nora sat down across from her, all 4 arms folded. You're enjoying this? Admiral, I got a 40% raise, my own quarters with actual hot water, and 3 Vexillari Cubs who send me drawings every week. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. Diana turned her terminal around, showing the latest artwork. Vrix had depicted Diana as Supreme Pack Leader, with an elaborate crown made of what appeared to be fish crackers. This is going on my workstation. The AI updated your official title based on that drawing, you know. You're now Supreme Pack Leader and Cultural Integration Specialist in the system. Even better. Thex Nora shook her head, but there was something like amusement in her expression. Fleet Command wants to implement your protocols across all vessels carrying juvenile members of pack-oriented species. They're calling it the Diana Protocol. They're going to be really disappointed when they realize the protocol is just, don't be weird about kids being kids. Nevertheless, you've prevented what could have been a catastrophic diplomatic incident and somehow revolutionized our approach to cultural integration in the process. Thex Nora stood. The Diplomatic Corps is requesting you for their next high-stakes negotiation. Hard pass. I'm a network security specialist, not a miracle worker. You commanded 3 Apex Predator Cubs with crackers and confidence. Exactly. Network security. I identified the vulnerability, your AI's terrible programming, and patched it with better logic. That's literally my job. Diana walked past the bridge on her way back to her quarters. The crew had learned to snap to casual attention when she passed, not because she demanded it, but because the AI had updated protocols, and nobody wanted to argue with the system anymore. She paused at her workstation, carefully taping Vrix's latest drawing next to the others, a small gallery of crayon commanders and their human pack leader. Ambassador Krevhal passed by, saw the display, and smiled. They ask about you constantly. When is Diana visiting? Does Diana need protection? Has Diana received their latest tactical briefing? Tactical briefing. They drew you defeating a space monster with coffee. Very detailed. Diana grinned. Tell them I'll need at least 3 more drawings before I can properly assess the threat level. As she settled into her quarters that night, her terminal chimed with a message from Earth. Bruno, her golden retriever, had apparently learned a new trick. Her roommate had sent a video of him guarding the apartment with the same serious expression Vrix used during diplomatic functions. Commanders across the galaxy, Diana muttered, laughing as she queued up a response. Some things were universal after all.